By the way, I love the name, Claude. It sounds like, a Frenchman. I'm waiting for a baguette and so on. It sounds much more European. Just for the name, I would go for Claude, but I understand this is not a relevant category to assess here. Hello and welcome to Work Ally Tech Talk. I am Magda Kufrej, a career coach working with professionals in career transitions. But before I became a coach, I spent 7 years working for European institutions, and if you can imagine, it was not really cutting edge. So when I transitioned to consultancies and later startups, I really had to catch up soon. And that experience changed what I think, how I perceive the job market. I definitely see that people who are more tech savvy, those that are ready to learn new tools, are those that get new jobs faster and succeed faster as well. So that's why today I am bringing with you my secret weapon, Piotr Korgól, who is my friend from university times. Hi, Piotr, welcome.
Hi, Magda. It's good to be here.
Piotr, tell us a little bit more about you. Why are you my secret weapon?
Well, we've known each other since university.
Oh, yes.
Probably have a ton of parties and a sea of beer that we've drank throughout the 5 years. But
that's not why you're my secret weapon.
That's not no.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. The reason that I think I am your secret weapon is that we do spend some time playing ping pong and having conversations about how the situation is changing in the world with AI, with the tech that's coming up. And I think I can provide you with a lot of information about things that you might not even be aware of because of my tech background.
Indeed. Piotr is a very humble person. He didn't mention that he's a VP of engineering at the Berlin-based climate tech startup. And those ping pong evenings are invaluable for me because not only I have fun, I meet a good friend, I relax after work, but also he shares so many tools, so many hacks that later I share with my clients. And I thought, why should we be keeping it to ourselves if we can share it with others? So Piotr, welcome to the show.
Again, great to be here, and I'm super happy to share as much as possible with your audience.
Okay, let's go. I wanted to start with you talking about the first thing, because many people listening to us, hopefully today, might not be very technical, right? And when I, at the beginning, thought about AI, I mostly thought about a chatbot and one of those AI providers that are there. So just to start, if you're relatively new to using AI tools, which AI provider, which chatbot, you could say, would you recommend for people to start with?
There's a ton of different options nowadays on the market, but there's a few major players that provide the models themselves. So the big one, the first one pretty much is OpenAI, the one that
ChatGPT
started everything.
Exactly.
Right. And then they have a very specific solution that's more, you can see that it's more addressed to individuals. And they have an amazing voice mode. So you can have an Android app, and on the app you can have a conversation with it, which is also beneficial if you're thinking about mock interviews, etc. On the other side, you have Claude, and the advantage of Claude is more the fact that they have an ecosystem where you have Claude Cowork.
By the way, I love the name, Claude. It sounds like, a Frenchman. I'm waiting for a baguette and so on. It sounds much more European. Just for the name, I would go for Claude, but I understand this is not a relevant category to assess here.
Right, but coming back to ChatGPT, one more important thing is they have a solution called Codex. It was aimed at developers, but there is not that much difference between using something like Cowork and Codex or Claude Code. The thing is that you need something that can manipulate files and execute commands on your computer. So there is an alternative to Claude Cowork that is from OpenAI. If you like those models, if you prefer,
ChatGPT,
yeah, exactly. For me, because of my work, it's Claude because I get best results with it. But from a job search perspective, that might not be the case every time.
Okay, Piotrek, today we have to decide, and I know that you wanted to introduce Claude to us and also the Cowork option. So perhaps as we will be talking more in this episode and in the whole season here about job search, we will be mostly using Claude as an example. And so where do we start? I would probably say that the very first, very important thing is that you buy a subscription so that your data stays with you, that there is an option, that it's not going to be used for testing and training the models further, which at least for my own use is an important concern. So I always tick it all off to make sure that the data stays with me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that data privacy is also an important aspect of all of this. Overall, you are always sending in the information there.
You are, yes.
Yeah. So
always be careful about
always
that.
be
Think
careful.
about what you don't want to share. Piotr, we're not sharing our photos from the studies days, right? That stays with us and our close friends.
Definitely. That's locked up in a safe. But until we reach a point where you can run your own model on your own device, there's always a risk, right? It's not 100%. You cannot be 100% sure that nothing gets out.
Yes, that's true. Well, hopefully your application is going to get out and you're going to get the job you want. So now, we started with the basics. What you recommend is Claude, buy a subscription. You can use different models. Your data should be more secure in that way as well if you use those settings. And now, the first question, right? As you mentioned, job search, that's a whole process. It includes different phases from doing a market research to nailing an interview. So let's start with the first one is, how do you think AI can help you figure out your next move if you don't know what to do next?
I think a good starting point is getting some kind of coaching from AI.
Oh, yes, maybe also from Magda.
Maybe also from
Maybe
Magda.
from Magda, please AI, don't replace me.
This is more like not finding your inner self. Nothing will replace a real human coach.
Thank you for that, giving me hope.
On the other hand, for simple, quick questions, something that is not that important in the long term, where you need some guidance, I think it's a good starting point. It's
okay.
just,
Tell us more. What are those short guidance? What can we do in terms of, like AI? Here I am. This is what I'm thinking about. What is the next role? What is the next step I could take?
So I think it's good to go into some kind of an analysis. Okay, this is my current CV. This is my resume. What are possible, for example, these are the job descriptions that interest me, right? How can I get into those roles? Am I a decent fit, or should I maybe improve my skills in some certain area, right? Or maybe do a market scan and see if my current skills are even marketable in general, right? Or maybe I should go in some other way.
Okay, Piotr, that's interesting. Tell me a little bit more about market scan, because I think that is a big advantage of what AI can do for you within a couple of minutes without you having to research things for hours. What would you recommend?
In that case, something like Perplexity or Claude, and then you can ask questions like, what are the market trends for specific roles, specific areas? Maybe you want to go into sustainability, fintech, and then you can scope it geographically, like, okay, I'm looking for jobs in Europe. And then maybe try to identify some kind of a common theme between those. So just provide a prompt to those systems and try to get market information out.
Okay, so we're talking here about a chat box option where, for example, you go to Perplexity, like you mentioned, to get those source information, or using it in Claude in a way of a chat, like, hey, tell me about those countries. What are the salaries? Is there more or less job opportunities than before? Those kind of things. Report kind of on the statistics and general trends.
Yes, it's that approach.
Piotrek, now the question that I think everyone is waiting for you to answer for them. How can I make it faster, more efficient, perhaps more automated to find those jobs I am interested in and then apply for them?
To do that, you have to start with finding a offer a job offer that suits your skill set profile. And the way you could do this is set up an agent scan that would go over LinkedIn, Indeed, or for that matter, a lot of different providers would be
Different
possible.
job boards.
Yes, different
Okay.
job boards.
Look, when you say that to me, you have to figure out, or you have to launch an agent scan. That sounds to me like I have no idea what you're talking about. So I have a subscription, I have Claude. What do I do now to get that scan running for me while I'm having a walk or lunch with a friend?
The easiest approach is to put a bunch of job descriptions that you are interested in and ask Claude or any AI to identify keywords that you could use in your search queries. But this is a really manual process, right? If you don't want to go the full agent route, there are tools like JobRite or Quick CV and I think Sonara that help you do continuous matching, which is constantly scanning for new offers and trying to identify if you're a good fit.
Okay, so you basically sign up on a platform, upload your resume, and then an AI agent looks for job offers that are available out there and pings you back when there's something interesting for you.
Yes, and with Cowork, you can additionally ask it for each morning, prepare a prompt where you can say each morning just summarize the new postings.
And that's what I'm interested in. So let's forget for now. We will probably have an episode about all those tools. And by the way, recently I have been testing one of them that talks to me on WhatsApp, telling me the job offers that could be useful. And it is actually a really good match. So we'll get back to it in a different episode. But today, I would love to hear, how can I do it myself? You mentioned Claude Cowork. How do I do that?
When you have Claude and you download the desktop app for Claude, you have 3 tabs depending on your subscription. If you have a $20 subscription, you have the chat as the default. Then the next icon is Cowork, which is an agent mode where you can work within a single folder. And then the third option is Claude Code, which is more geared towards programmers. Like for me,
okay.
for the
Piotr.
nerds.
Okay, don't worry about the third one, but hey, this is very interesting, and I think we're gonna do another episode specifically about how to use Cowork also with images and so on, so you can follow it on the screen. But today, I would love to hear, how can I do it myself? You mentioned Claude Cowork. How do I do that? You mentioned a prompt. Tell us more.
Yes, you can set up Cowork to do routines or do things at a certain time of the day every day, for example. So if you have a prompt like, each morning summarize the new postings I saved in this folder and, rank them against my CV, or you can even ask it to go out and scan certain job boards, just like we discussed, but do this every day at a set time point, right? And then give you some kind of a report in an output file in a folder, all right? And then you can go in, like it's going to run at 9 a.m. By 10, when you're ready to pick this up, you go in there, you find the file, okay, this date, new offers, okay, I'm going to apply for these.
Does it have to be a file, or could it be simply in the chat, that I open the chat and then those offers show up every day?
It could be simply the chat. It could be, but it's oftentimes better for keeping track, like an Excel sheet. Right? You can do that as well. So, okay, new rows have appeared since yesterday because these are new job offers.
Okay.
And the AI is smart enough also to understand that this already exists in the file. I don't need to add it if I found the same thing.
I see. Okay, great. Piotrek, so we saved the first hour of the morning. Instead of having to sit there, look through those job boards, decide what I'm going to apply for, it all arrives to me. I know exactly from those jobs I can decide, okay, I'm applying for top 3 or top 5 of them. Now, can AI actually apply for me? Can it help me with tailoring those applications so I don't have to spend time on that either?
So when you want to apply, the thing is that with AI, you can help tailor your CV. You can have it prepare you a cover letter. Of course, you have to be careful about not sounding like AI, which is a big
so-called
curse.
AI slop.
AI slop, yes. Getting to a cover letter that doesn't sound like AI but is prepared by AI is possible, and that's by feeding the AI upfront examples of your previous writing. Cover letters or any kind of writing that highlights your style, this will make it sound less like AI and more like you. Of course, you should still review it afterwards.
I give you one more tip as a career coach, which is you can also add to that database of materials that Claude will have access to an inventory of your success stories from the past. So write down all those successes, professional successes you had, maybe with some quantifiers, number of hours saved, budgets that you managed, and so forth. So you can feed it into Claude so that it knows what examples to highlight or pick from for helping with a cover letter. But now, how can I automate the number of applications I'm putting every day? Like you mentioned before, how can I use AI more efficiently than just help me tweak my cover letter and resume and still doing it manually, but maybe make it apply for you so that you don't really have to do it yourself? Maybe I'm dreaming.
Everything we discussed so far. So first, identifying the interesting jobs could be then offloaded to an automated process that is going to prepare and tailor a CV, right? Because you have inputs, you have the work that the AI does, and you have outputs. If we discuss that it's just going to be in an Excel sheet, a list of rows, then the next step is you could have a routine running an hour later that's just going to pull a specific job description. It has access to your master CV. It has access to all the data about you. And then that ties into an automated process. In the end, you're going to have the input is the actual offer that we pulled from the internet.
Yes.
Your final output is a ready cover letter,
Yeah, the whole application.
and the whole application. You just have to submit it.
Yes, of course. You want to submit it. You also want to check.
Verify, yes.
I would not recommend the full automation, let the machine just run it and apply for anything, unless this is how you do it and in this big gamble and a game of numbers. Why not? Up to you. I love pirates as well. But yes, what we are thinking and we're talking about here is AI automatically updating your resume, writing that cover letter, bringing it to a folder in which, let's say at 2 p.m. after a wonderful lunch that you had with your friend, you're coming there, reading it all, doing the last final tweaks, and then manually sending it.
Yes, I cannot stress this enough. Please verify this. Because when we're talking about something like job search, there is a lot on the line. There is potential risk, reputation risk, etc. if something isn't done correctly on the AI side. So, yes.
Now, what if you get called for an interview? How can you do amazing preparation for that interview with support of AI?
So there's two aspects for that, or two angles to approach this. One is gathering as much information, and the second one is the actual preparation for the interview. So gathering information about the company, going into a deep research about the company, about the industry. Of course, it's going to depend on the job that you're applying for. Like if you're going to be a janitor at Microsoft, you don't need to know their long-term strategy. But especially the higher you go up the ladder, the more information, the better. So for that, you can use Perplexity, you can use Claude Code, any LLM will do.
Piotr, you've been talking about Perplexity, mentioning Perplexity quite a lot. Maybe some of the people that are listening to us might not necessarily know what that is, and why do you mention it if someone is already paying for Claude? What is Perplexity? Why should we use it?
Perplexity is a tool for, well, it kind of started as a tool for doing search and AI augmented search and look for sources about information with citations, so more verified. Especially in the beginning, that was a big problem with hallucinations. Not so much nowadays, but it still can be a valuable tool for that.
What you need to remember, if I got it right, is it is like a browser, like a search, but also using AI results and then giving you specifically the sources where you can verify all the information provided you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this could be very useful for finding those source information about the company, like media coverage, right? What do press says about this company? All kind of financial reports, ESG, sustainability reports, financial statements. What else could we ask Perplexity to find for us?
Company, the people that are within the company, anything that was publicly available about the strategy. So any aspects of the company operating, you can go download all their PDFs on annual reports.
Okay, so we're extracting data, finding the data using Perplexity. We get a lot of different sources. Now, what's next? I guess I don't have to do it by myself anymore to analyze all this information to prepare for an interview, right?
No, you don't need to. You can ask questions. So gather all the data first and then ask questions for specific angles, ask for summaries. So kind of processing the data just to get the information that might be of interest within that context. For this, you could start again with Perplexity, but you could pretty much start it as a project with Claude Cowork. And then tell it what we're going to do, what it should focus on. So
give us a concrete example.
I'm applying for a job at Microsoft. I'm going to be dealing with sustainability at Microsoft. So within that context, find all the publicly available reports on Microsoft over the last 5 years. Help me identify potential questions that I could ask during the interview or potential issues on the Microsoft side where they would be interested in asking me about this, right? So, for example, there was something that happened in the past in the ESG space at Microsoft, and they had a problem with it, and then they're looking for a replacement. Try to identify any trends or any areas where Microsoft, within the context of ESG, is strong, or maybe there are some opportunities, pain points,
challenges.
Yes. And then based on that, try to come up with interview questions that I could leverage in my mock interview at a later stage.
And I wanted to mention one more tool, NotebookLM, which is a tool that can actually help you extract all this information in very, very interesting formats.
Yes, NotebookLM is a very interesting tool that has a lot of use in analyzing, in general, PDF documents. You can use it
reports.
You could use it for reports. Oftentimes, it's also used in science to analyze results of research. But that is also an angle where you could use this. Any PDFs, any annual reports, you could leverage that.
Okay. And so you upload it, and then you create podcasts or videos out of it.
Yes, there is a feature like that. You can auto-generate a podcast where two AI voices
Not
discuss.
like us. We are definitely not
We're
AI.
real. We're real.
You can hear it, right?
Yeah. You can generate a podcast where two people are discussing the topic that was within the PDFs. This is more of, okay, I'm a busy research scientist. I found this research. I might not have time to read it. I'm putting this into NotebookLM, and on my way to work, I can listen to a podcast about the paper.
Look, I think it can be also very useful during job search because it allows you to go outside, be in nature, right? Walk. Some people are also retain information much better when they're listening. And as you listen, you can hear those most important words about the company. And that can be useful for you also to prepare for that conversation later on, where you can look more like someone who's already an insider.
Yeah, that's true. I think you could use it for that matter, for that approach. I have not used it that way.
Okay.
But I haven't applied for a job in a long time.
Yes, indeed. We can actually do it next time. We'll prepare another episode, and you're going to see if there is any difference in how Piotr perceives or talks about the topic based on this experiment. But hey, let's go into the second part of interviewing, which is, okay, I know a lot about the company right now. Now I need to prepare myself to be able to answer the questions they'll give me. What to do?
For that, it's good to leverage the sound, the audio-based solutions, right? So go
ChatGPT.
Yes, ChatGPT with the Android app. Prepare a list of by that
or
point
iOS,
you should have.
By the way, for those that are on iPhone.
Oh yeah, the iPhone people.
We always fight about that.
So in general, the approach is you have the questions prepared by AI before, based on the research that you did, based on the job description, based on your resume. Do a mock interview with the voice mode. I would recommend actually OpenAI, ChatGPT. The voice mode I think is better there, the advanced voice mode. versus Claude Voice, and just ask it to be a tough hiring manager and just do a mock 20-minute interview. That's usually the best option. And then, of course, you will answer your questions, and you can ask it to provide you feedback and judge or score certain areas on a scale of 1 to 5, for example.
Yeah. And that's where, like this thread of being a human coach comes to some extent, because I know that some people do that. And I think it's also one of the use cases where you basically put a prompt with the so you get AI to ask you those questions, you answer, you copy paste everything that happened in that chat to a new chat, giving a prompt. Now you're a career coach. Now you're an executive coach. You're assessing my performance over that interview, giving me the tools so you can improve in the future. Piotr, thank you so much. There's so much more to cover, and we will be doing it in the episodes in the future. But before, I wanted to ask you, what are maybe some top messages that you would like to leave our audience with today?
So I think the 3 important things that I would like to highlight. One is we've listed a lot of different tools, services that you can use in job search. But in general, a good approach is pick one and try to get as much as possible from it, get accustomed to the way you talk to it, and try to dive as deep as possible. The other one is the mindset shift, where you want to focus on augmenting your job search as much as possible with AI. Think about it as a colleague that can help you, and as a good multiplier of your capacity to go and apply for different jobs. And the third item I would say is the agent moment. It's very important to understand that agents are even a bigger multiplier than just a basic chat interface. A lot of people I speak to still are not aware of what agents are capable, and it's really beneficial to get accustomed to understand it and use it.
Piotr, thank you for being here with me today.
Thanks. It was great to be here.
Yeah, and see you next time when we'll be talking about agents. Take care. That was your Work Ally Tech Talk.